What is up, guys, and welcome to this special episode of Guarani Vision, the first ever podcast dedicated to Paraguayan football in English. As always, I'm Roberto Rojas, and joining me is my great co-host, Ralph Hanna. And today we have a really special guest. We have David Rodriguez, attacking midfielder, who used to play for Cerro Porteño's academy and has, of course, the connection of being a Paraguayan-American with Dominican Republic roots as well. It's a really interesting story that I'm really curious to learn about, to obviously speak about. So, David, thank you again for taking the time to do this. But I guess my first question to you is, obviously your mother is Dominican Republic, your father is Paraguayan, you were born and raised in the United States. Just about that connection really of dealing with these kind of like nationalities, and also what made you fall in love with the sport of soccer that you're in.
It all started when I was like 3 years old. My grandma, she put me on my first ever recreational team here in Yonkers, New York. And ever since, I've just been playing, And then I stopped playing for a little bit, and 9 years old, I joined my first travel team in Westside Red Bulls in Manhattan. And then at 14 years old, I went to world class here in Orangeburg, played for my first ever academy. And then they only went up to U14, so I went up to New York Cosmos. And then, after the pandemic, they ran out of money, and then made the move to Gachi, stayed there for a season. Then went to New York Soccer Club, and then after New York Soccer Club, I went to Paraguay. Played for Cerro with the U23s, the reserves. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And David, tell me a little bit about going to Cerro from having been like grown up in the US kind of system. What was it like I guess the difference? Did you feel like a big difference in the way football is played down there in Paraguay compared to the US?
Oh yeah, 100%. When I first joined Cerro, it took me a while to adapt to the playing style. The physicality over there is just like on a whole nother level compared to over here. But then again, over here, like it's more simple, like more tactical. But over there is more physical, and that took me a while to like adapt to. But got my way through it.
And what about also things like the heat? Because obviously the climate is totally different as well down in Paraguay.
Yeah, there'll be some days where we train 120-degree weather, and that's normal to them. Like, there's no way. But you just have to go stick it through, and yeah, it's hard. But yeah.
And tell me with some of the players you were playing with down there in Paraguay, because you were doing some of the reserves with Cerro. So we've seen some players like, for example, Gabriel Aguayo, who's just come through, and he's in the first team now. Did you get to play with him? Could you see some of the quality that he has?
Of course, yeah. From the moment I started training with him, his speed, like, he's very direct, and his speed is just like on a whole nother level. You could tell he has a future. Very good. Very good.
And I have one other question for you. So while you were down there, you got called up to play for the Dominican Republic, which is the side, your mother's side of the family, right? And then your father's side is Paraguay. Try and talk through, because there's a lot of people who watch this that are also dual nationals or even have three nationalities. Some of those emotions when you're representing one country, but you're actually playing against another country that you also have ties to. How did that feel?
Honestly, it was like a moment that I always dreamed of. Able to represent one of the countries that my parents are from, to play against one another. It was, especially like half of my team was in the Paraguayan national team. So we stayed in the same hotel, we made jokes, this and that. But when it got to the game, like it was serious. Like we acted like we didn't know each other. It was just like, but after the game, it was all like jokes. When I came back to practice, they were just like making jokes about, like, because we got into a fight. There was a little like scrabble over there, and there was no bad vibes, but it got a little heated in the locker room. Let's just say that. Yeah.
What to say? I remember that scrap. It made the whole it made a big commotion in Paraguay.
Yeah, it was something else, man. Even in some of the guys, like, they brought it to the club. I don't know. They don't know how to like separate it, but
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
I get you, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think as well, like for a lot of people, like Ralph said, it's also when you come to a point of your career where you feel like, damn, I need to go and further myself, and you have your options. I'm sure
Yeah.
for the chances that maybe Paraguay could wanted to get you, the U.S. I'm sure wanted to get you as well. What made you think that? Well, not made you. What made you decide that you wanted to go for the DR and wanted to play for their national team?
I wanted to go there because it's something new. It's a new. I don't know. Like, they're building something really nice, and the team that they were bringing over for that friendly against Paraguay, all of them top players. All of them came from Europe, and I met many nice people like Israel Bolt, right, for example. He plays in Inter Miami, and me and him are like this now. We're really close after that, and that's why I wanted to go there. Something new, something different, and yeah.
So I think another question I had, and I think this might be a good thing to ask because obviously the three countries that you're kind of having a tie with, American born and raised, Dominican mother, Paraguayan father, you kind of grew up in that system. Those three countries right now are going to be playing in the Olympics in a couple of years
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
what are your vibes about, I guess, because you have some teammates that played in Cedro that are there as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
in the DR too. How
Yeah.
do you feel about those countries and the US, of course? How do you feel about those three countries? And, I guess who are you rooting for, man? I don't want to put you on the spot, but who are you trying to
Who
root
am I rooting for?
for?
I'm rooting. It's a little hard. I'm gonna go with DR. I'm rooting for them. Those are my guys.
Do you think they'll do well? Because they're in a tough group. They got
No,
Egypt.
they are in a tough group, but hopefully they can stick it through and make it through the group stage. Yeah.
And
But
I guess
yeah,
do you feel confident in Paraguay as well that they can do something in
oh
the
no, yeah, no. After they have a nice team. Hopefully they can. They've been struggling these past couple friendlies, but hopefully they can go through. My boy Alan Nunez, Ronaldo Jesus. They're there right now, and hopefully I want them to go far.
Yeah, I think and Ralph, I'm sure you feel this way as well. I think that's all the hope that we're gonna have on this Olympic team to really just go well because it's been
Yeah,
a long time that they've been on
yeah,
the world stage. I wanted to ask you more about you as a player. You say that you're an attacking midfielder. I mean, there's obviously this has always been a position that has always evolved over the last decade
yeah.
playing in that say. But for those that maybe haven't seen you or don't know you, just describe like what kind of player you are and what makes you different from the rest.
Makes a difference that I work hard, never give up, and I like to. I'm a player that likes to create things out from nothing. Like that's who I am. Like I'm the guy that like, they depend on when the game is not going right, and yeah, yeah. Always
Are
gonna
there
have
some
a
players?
positive mindset to never negative.
No, that's good. I love that. I really respect that. There's some players that you like to model your game with. Is there some like players that you really look up to that you know that you want to copy their style?
To be honest, Jude Bellingham, for example,
Mm.
that's my guy right there. I love the way how he plays. Very calm, simple. That's it.
You got an Englishman right here that I'm sure he's very happy to hear those words, Ralph. I think he's certainly someone that I think a lot of kids are looking to as well, and I think it's important. So, I mean, I guess now to really just kind of close it out here, and thank you, David, for taking your time to do this. I guess
Of course.
what's next for you? What is the dream? In the next couple of years. Obviously, we'll be supporting you. We'll obviously be looking at your career over the next couple of years and see how well you do. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? I'm sure for you is to obviously play for a big team. Play in
Yeah.
the DR, go to a World Cup. I think that's always the dream that any kid has. Is that something that you strive for, or is there something else?
Yeah. My dream for the 2026 World Cup. Hopefully, I could qualify and play in that World Cup. That would be a dream of mine, especially here in the U.S., like my home country. And hopefully, one day I get to play in Europe. Like I think that's every kid's goal, dream to play in Europe. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much it.
no, I agree. I think a lot of these kids as well, they always have these dreams of playing in Europe, playing for the biggest teams, playing in a World Cup, playing for their national team. And it just goes into that evolution. But nah, man, we're thankful enough that we have someone like you that, obviously, even if you are representing a different country, you still have your Paraguayan ties, you still have your connection, and I really
Yeah.
respect that out of you. So thank you, David, for doing this, and thank you, Ralph, for joining me on this great interview as we close out another great episode of Guarani Vision. For myself, Roberto Rojas, and Ralph Hanna. David, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, if there's anything that you want to say to the people listening, now's the time.
I just want to say thank you for all the support. I wouldn't be where I'm at without my dad, my mom, and a special shout out to Garland Mesa, the coach over there in Cerro, for helping me making this year easier for me. He helped me out a lot over there. And can't thank him enough.
We'll definitely send their shout outs to them as well. And yeah, for everyone listening, thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.